So just after the season 10 trailer was released, out of nowhere The Walking Dead, the Skybound, all those social media accounts uploaded this. Without any further comment or explanation, they just uploaded this on the social media accounts and called it the Untitled The Walking Dead movie project. And I wasn't even going to make a video about this at first, purely because I thought I'd already got it right, and I kind of did. We spoke about Rick Grimes' hallucination in his final episode, and what it meant, and it was pretty strange if it meant nothing, but I think it still means something, but I do think something has been changed along the way about the writing for this movie. Because if you didn't know already, about a month ago, I figured out that this city Rick saw in his hallucination was Charlotte, and I still think this hallucination was foreshadowing the future, and this teaser does confirm Rick is in a city, that's where the CRM are. But what this teaser also confirms is that it's not Charlotte. So I was right in the way that this city does mean something about the hallucination being the future, but I do think the city that the CRM are in has been changed along the way. Because this city right here is 100% Philadelphia. And that actually does make a lot more sense than North Carolina, because North Carolina is closer to Virginia than Philadelphia is. Philadelphia is quite a bit further away, like a lot further away. And so the helicopters, although North Carolina is still further away than Virginia, a helicopter is a bit much considering they're not that far away. But Philadelphia is that much further away, and so it does make sense. And in the season 9 premiere, we saw Jadis was in that museum in Washington, and that museum in Washington is exactly halfway between Virginia and Philadelphia. Like, it makes sense now, it's all coming together. So in this video, we are going to be completely breaking down this very small teaser and getting to the bottom of what this teaser means, what this means for the movies. There's quite a lot, you wouldn't think it, but we know so much more just from this 30-second teaser, so that's what we're going to be doing in this video. So we're going to be looking at this teaser shot for shot, frame for frame, and brightening it up so we can see what is in the dark. Now, of course, I know this is actually all animated, but if anything, that makes it more likely that this is relevant, the information we find, because Skybound and AMC and Universal have put together this thing with stuff in it. So if anything, the fact it's animated means everything in this video matters. So the teaser in this shot starts off with a city in the background, all foggy, and it's really dark and snowy. If you look closer, there is actually snow there. But I'm not going to show you this teaser just like this. I think there's actually something that needs to be done to actually find something, especially towards the end of the trailer. So look how much better this trailer looks. Look how much more you can see when I do this. And just as I thought, this teaser has a lot more of a darker tone to it, and that's what I think not only Rick Grimes needs, but I think the CRM needs. We saw in For the Walking Dead, we got a really vulnerable side to the CRM, and considering that's the first side we saw to them, I think that's a bad idea. But to see them taking on such a more sad and melancholy, kind of sinister tone is really, really good. And remember, this movie is being made by Universal, so like all Universal movies, you will be able to see this movie as soon as it comes out wherever you live. It's not just going to be available in the US like the For the Walking Dead Morgan crossover. This is a real actual movie being made by Universal, and we talk about what that actually means for the plot of the movie a bit later on in the video, because that's going to have to change me quite more appealing, because the fanbase of the Walking Dead main show is not nearly as big to make a movie successful. And that's why I think this movie will be a much darker and more realistic story for Rick Grimes. And the first thing I want to look at in this teaser is these flowers. I think they hold a massive, massive meaning, and it just further proves why I think Rick will die, because the meaning of a black rose, which is what these flowers look like. In the 19th century, they represented hatred, death, and despair. It also represents rebirth and farewell for good, and that's why I'm actually worried for Rick Grimes' story. We saw in the season 10 trailer that Michonne kissed Ezekiel. Could it be the same that Rick has also lost love for Michonne? Rebirth and farewell for good. It could be possible that Rick has some kind of memory loss or is with Jadis now. Then of course a helicopter flies into frame towards the city, and I do think this is the helicopter that Rick Grimes is in, because when a helicopter has a red flashing light, it's to suggest and indicate danger. So this danger could be something to do with the helicopter or someone on the helicopter. Like Rick Grimes being injured, it makes sense they'd put the lights on to get back to the city quick, so that the people there, hospitals or whatever, something like that, would be ready to help Rick. And of course, looking on the ground and in the sky, it is snowing in this picture, and it's been snowing for a while. It's possible that most of this movie could take place during a snowstorm. It's very clear that snow's going to play a big part in this movie and the CRM story, because as the title appears, snowflakes fall over the title, and very few of them do. They're making it very obvious that it's snowing because it's going to play a very big part in the movie. And of course, once the helicopter has flown to the city, The Walking Dead appears, and the very obvious weirdest thing in this picture is the 3 circle symbol we've seen on the CRM for a while now is in the title. You saw people on Twitter feeling like they were like detectives or something figuring that out, but if you've been on the channel for a while, you know it's pretty obvious that they would show these 3 circles again somewhere in this teaser. Isn't that much of a surprise or a secret? It's right there in front of us. We know this is a CRM symbol. I think a lot of people were confused by this is because there's actually something that is a secret in this teaser. On the left and the right of The Walking Dead, you can actually see, well, you actually can't see. And after spending some time editing this and figuring it out, I changed it so that I could see it. And I can tell you on the left and right, you can actually see these are brick walls. And on the word walking, if you look on the top of each wall, you can actually see the top of them. You can actually see these are bricks or something like that. And so I think this confirms the fact that this city has completely survived the apocalypse, and walls are going to be the main reason for this story happening, because there's going to be people in this big empire of a city that have survived the apocalypse that have never actually been out into it. So it's going to be almost exactly like the Alexandria storyline, but of course there's going to be higher up members or soldiers that actually work for the CRM with the higher ups in this city that will show there's a much bigger picture here, and I think it's going to have something to do with the cure. Mainly because, remember what I said, this is a Universal movie. This has to have an appealing storyline, and it has to be one that reaches a bigger audience, because the core die-hard Walking Dead fans just aren't enough. In the way that when this movie comes out, when they start marketing this movie, it's going to be all around. It's going to be on signs, buses, it's going to be on TV commercials. If this doesn't have a storyline that appeals to the casual person that doesn't even watch The Walking Dead yet, then I feel like this is only going to damage the universe of The Walking Dead. And I hate to say it, but I feel like people will be watching this movie that have never seen The Walking Dead in their life. You would be surprised. So I don't think this movie will really have a lot to do with Rick really wanting to be with Michonne or anything like that at first. However, I do believe this movie will completely try to heal the damage that has been done over the years. So all the people that stopped watching when Carl died or stopped watching when Rick left the show, I think they will be completely brought back into it. Maybe even re-watching what they've missed from the show for this movie. Or maybe this movie is the thing to get them back into it. But this story in this movie, I think will be really good at creating a story, a more zombie sci-fi story for people that are yet to watch the show or people that stopped watching it, and then the real Rick Grimes story will be in this movie. So I do think this movie is going to appeal to everyone, and remember, in order to do that, it's going to have a story such as The Cure. It's going to be something to do with the Walkers. I've always thought the CRM would be bad people, like a dark organization experimenting on people, but from what we've seen in Fear, although this teaser does prove to have a darker tone, I think these are just people that will do what they have to do. We saw in Fear that Isabel was going to have to kill Althea because she had seen and knows too much. So whatever the CRM are doing, it's quite secretive, and I think it's almost guaranteed to be something to do with the Walkers. And to appeal to a bigger audience, I think it has to be a Cure. And a lot of you wanted to hear my thoughts on this movie, and I just need to say, to see Rick Grimes in a place like this is going to be really good. It's going to be insane. Like, just thinking about what this is going to be like, I really hope they don't give him the memory loss storyline, because we need to see his reaction to what just happened. Like, we're going to be shocked enough. Imagine this character's reaction, like, especially Rick Grimes. Like, his character is so good. By far the coolest character in television history. He's going to be taken to somewhere completely different. And on top of it, he's going to be really badly injured. It's like season 1 all over again. It's going to be so good. Last time I was this excited for something was Red Dead Redemption 2, and that's saying something. This is going to be insane. And remember, this third spin-off that was announced, I haven't made a video about it because honestly I'm just not interested in it at all. I'm not really interested in the story, and I don't like kids in the apocalypse, I just don't. But that story is set to take place within another place that hasn't actually dealt with the apocalypse yet. So these are going to be kids that have never seen walkers or anything like that before. So it's going to be really cool to see that. I don't know if I'm going to cover this third spin-off because I'm losing interest in Fear, and if that's the case, I doubt I'm going to be remotely interested in a show about kids. So I'll see. I'm not saying it's going to be a bad show, I'm just not going to be as interested to make good videos at least. Anyway, that's what I think about the Rick Grimes movie teaser. More importantly, what do you think? On the top right of your screen, you're going to see an eye icon. Just click or tap on that and you can vote in the poll. Are you still excited for the Rick Grimes movies? And if so, what do you think it's about? Do you think I'm right? Make sure to let me know. And of course, don't just vote in the poll, make sure to comment down below what you think. And of course, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to press the like button. It actually helps this video get seen and supports me. And if you enjoyed this, make sure to go and check out my season 10 official trailer breakdown. We found some pretty scary stuff, and I think Sadiq is going to get Gabriel's comic death. So make sure to go and check it out. And of course, make sure to subscribe so that you are the first to hear about The Walking Dead. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.